year was 1756 and Europe was a tinderbox waiting for a spark. Picture the diplomatic halls filled with tense whispers as empires sized each other up. On one side, Austria, France, and Russia plotted clandestine alliances. On the other, Prussia, under the watchful reign of Frederick the Great, prepared for inevitable betrayal. Picture the enormous armies, hidden behind cloaks of diplomacy, sharpening their weapons in anticipation. The balance of power was fragile. Every monarch sat on their jeweled thrones, knowing that the thunder of war might soon reverberate through their palaces. Now, imagine Frederick the Great as a master chess player, calculating several moves ahead. In August 1756, with a swift and calculated risk, he invades Saxony, an ally of Austria, catching them utterly unprepared. Visualize the relentless march of the disciplined Prussian regiments as they sweep through the fields, leaving both ally and enemy alike breathless in their wake. The rumbling whispers in the courts turn into cries of alarm and indignation. Diplomatic niceties are abandoned like faded costumes as the trumpets of war declare the opening move in what would become known as the 7 Years' War. Meanwhile, in distant opulence, Austria's Empress, Maria Theresa, is a portrait of steely resolve. Envision her bolstering alliances with France and Russia, even as conflicting interests simmer below the surface. The alliances are as tenuous as they are necessary. Picture the continents divided, where ancient friendships turned brittle and new enmities simmered like a boiling cauldron. Now, cast your eyes across the channel to the concerned faces within the British court. King George II, fearing for his German interests, throws in his lot with Frederick, while keeping an intent eye on the future. Visualize the fleet's unfurling sails as the eyes of the Admiralty shift towards global horizons. The British gamble was a sweeping global war, with stakes reaching the shores of the faraway Americas. The 7 Years' War was set to blaze not just across Europe, but across the known world. Leap to November 1757, where fields of Rossbach become the stage for Frederick's genius. Imagine the chaos as outnumbered Prussian forces weave tactical brilliance against the combined French and Austrian troops. It's a symphony of coordinated maneuvers that leaves enemies stumbling, defeated by strategy rather than sheer force. Prussia's modest armies move with the grace and precision of a practiced fencer, securing a win that bolsters Frederick's reputation as a military mastermind. In parallel, see the conflicts across the Atlantic, where the beat of war drums echo through the wilderness of North America. The British and French forces collide in a fierce contest. Picture British warships blockading coastlines, cutting off French traders, and gaining an upper hand in the struggle for colonial supremacy. These are flames of conquest that reshape the New World's map. Frederick's prowess continues in December 1757 at Leuden. Picture a master painter delicately orchestrating strokes across his canvas with rapid, decisive brushstrokes. A landscape of conflict where once again cunning defeats numbers and the Austrian forces retreat, demoralized and disarrayed. Yet as the backdrop shifts, nearby in eastern Prussia, the looming Russian might begins to press hard. Imagine an unstoppable force slowly advancing, like a creeping glacier, as Frederick's attention is forced to extend in every direction. Prussia hangs by a thread. On the seas, turn to December 1759. Picture in your mind's eye the grand naval engagements where British ships under Admiral Edward Boscawen ride the waves like kings of the ocean. The sea becomes an arena where empires clash, as the British blockades lock out French forces and cripple their reach. The Atlantic currents now carry British authority on the world stage. Back to the heart of the conflict, in the strategic makeup of war, see how weariness and the need for peace begin to weigh heavily on both sides by 1761. Imagine the rooms of power where key figures whisper of peace while calculating what they can offer and what they might yet lose. Yet peace seems as distant as the stars until fortune abruptly flips the board with the death of the Russian Empress. Picture Peter III, his abrupt ascent as an ally to Frederick, pulling Russia out of the war, sending shock waves through alliances. Visualize Frederick breathing a small sigh of relief as the pressures on Prussia loosen just a little. Austria and France are now without critical support, and it becomes a turning tide. As the winds of fate shift, look ahead to the treaties that finalized the outbreak of conflict in 1763, writing a postscript to this grand saga. Imagine the prickling signatures of leaders as they set terms and draw new lines, an arrangement where Britain emerges as master of the colonial empire, its global influence unrivaled. Finally, in the aftermath settling like dust, see the flickers of new nation-states, the embers of national identity sparked by the shower of conflict. Allow the vision of Napoleon's future wars and the reverberations of political revolution to come into focus. The 7 Years' War, a complex tapestry woven of alliances and betrayals, warfare and strategy, reshaped global dynamics that threaded through the coming centuries like a relentless spool. The landscapes painted by battle and diplomacy continued far beyond invisible borders on fragile maps, altering destinies of generations yet unseen. If you like it, please like and subscribe to the channel to receive all that is new.